135 people lost their lives when the police fired tear gas into the stands at Kanjuruhan Stadium. Indonesian families. Those killed in Kanjuruhan Stadium disaster in Malang a year ago marked anniversary of tragedy by holding a candlelight vigil at stadium, along with hundreds fans and survivors, amid renewed calls for justice. About 300 people traveled by convoy from central Malang to Kanjuruhan Stadium, some venturing inside for the first time since last year's disaster that killed 135 people, including children as young as 3. More than 400 people were injured. But Rini Hanifa did not dare to enter the place where her 20-year-old son Agus Rian Syah Pratama Putra. Some families of the victims, including me, could not stand it, and some people fainted. I felt like I couldn't breathe, he told Al Jazeera. The worship service started at 1200 on Sunday and continued until late at night. The sense injustice was clearly felt when parts of stadium, currently in the process being rebuilt to FIFA specifications, were set on fire and flames blazed across pitch. But for Hanifa, the experience of being in Kanjuruhan was overwhelming. He went home early. I stood in front of gate 13 and thought about how my child must have felt when he was having trouble breathing and couldn't breathe because of the tear gas, he said. We were all imagining how our children there, screaming for help because their lungs were burning. The tragedy occurred when Indonesian police fired tear gas into the stands and the field following a match between local rivals Arema FC and Persebaya Surabaya. The police thought that Arema fans had descended on the field after losing to Persebaya for the first time in 23 years. Persebaya fans were not allowed to enter match due to the intense rivalry between two sides and fear of violence. Tear gas against civilians. According to an official report from Indonesia's National Human Rights Commission, police fired approximately 45 rounds of tear gas inside stadium, leading to deaths of fans in the stands and crushes at exits as fans desperately tried escape. According to rules of the International Football Federation FIFA, use of tear gas in stadiums is prohibited. Usman Hamid, head of Amnesty International's Indonesia office, told Al Jazeera that even now Indonesian police do not appear to have reconsidered the use of tear gas against civilians. The unfortunate thing is that since the Kanjuruhan tragedy, there continue to be cases of police officers firing tear gas at civilians, such as on Rempang Island on September 7. He said, referring to a Chinese-old protest last month. Development project. We call on authorities that the use of force and tactics by security forces must always be within legal framework and in accordance with human rights standards. We also call on authorities to increase transparency, accountability and the changes needed to protect civil society from excessive and potentially dangerous use of force, including tear gas.